Hey guys, happy Thursday. Happy Live with Liz call that we have each week. And I missed you all last week. We didn't have a call because it was Thanksgiving, so we spent time with our families, of course, and I hope that you all had fun. We left after dinner or lunch and we went shopping, so it was a lot of fun. But I am excited to have you all on the call tonight. I'm excited to have Lindsey. I am not sure how to say your last name.
Oh, it's Birthisel. No one can say it. Birthisel. Our pastor got it wrong when we married, and we met with him like many, many times, so don't worry about it, girl.
Lindsey Birthisel, everyone ambassador with Plexus. And I have just adored you, Lindsey, since I've
Thank you.
secretly been your Plexus Facebook stalker. So
Oh, you make me feel so good. That means so much. Thank you.
well, I would love to hear a little bit more about your story and for everyone that's on the call tonight. So if you will, just kind of share a little bit about yourself and how you got started and how you got here.
Yeah. So my kind of backstory, I didn't have, I say this all the time. So if you follow me on Facebook, I say this all the time, but I had no experience in network marketing before. I feel kind of bad saying that, like, I've unfollowed other friends before who have done other MLM companies. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be doing something like this. I never did. And it's funny because I actually had a couple other people that I know that had shared about Plexus, but they didn't share it in the right way, so they only shared about, like lots of really cheesy diet type, like lots of cheesy graphics, and it wasn't anything that appealed to me. So when one of my best friends started sharing about it and about how gut health could be the root source of so many health issues, that was like life-changing for me. And I've struggled with migraines my whole, I shouldn't say that, right? Whatever, recording it, whatever, but I struggled with migraines, and acid reflux and all kinds of stuff. And at the time I was almost 16 weeks pregnant with my second, and I was feeling really, really terrible physically. And so Plexus was I was so nervous. I didn't really know if I would ever take the products, and my OB approved them so easily, which was really shocking to me because she's not approved other stuff. I don't know. And so I just kind of went in for it. And when I started sharing about Plexus, I will say I was like that person that initially, I was so fearful to share, like so fearful to share. Like everybody looks at me now and they think that I'm this really, and I am outgoing now with social media, but I was not initially, like at all. I went into it telling my girlfriend, I was like, okay, girl, I'll post once a week. Like that's what you'll get out of me. I'll post once a week. And she was like, yeah, okay, fine, Lindsey, but whatever, And so I posted once a week for like a solid month. And how successful was I? Not at all. Like at all. I was terrible at it. And I got my parents to sign up, which I was proud of. I literally was that person. I thought, okay, I can go silver because I know I can get my parents and like maybe one other person, but there's no way I can go gold. Like there's no way, because getting 20 people, like I can't even imagine anybody that would want to join me or do anything like this. But Plexus just became so organic for me, So once I kind of got to this place where I built my belief up and I was like, forget it, I'm going all in. You have to, build your belief up in that way. And once you just kind of like build it up and you feel so fearless, you just go all in. And once you go all in, your network senses that, and they sense your passion. They'll always buy your passion before they'll ever buy anything you're selling. Which is so true. You can go somewhere and someone might be selling you a glass of water. And if he's selling you like, this is the greatest glass of water you're ever going to have in your entire life, it's going to change your life. You're like, okay, I'll take some water. So people will always trust your passion. So that it's just been very organic. And I've shared in a really specific way in my journey. I've tried really hard to post properly and make that like the core of what I've done. I've been told by so many different people that they've also had other friends that shared about Plexus, and I shared in a very different way. I focused everything on gut health, and I really try when I post to connect and hit lots of different health issues. Obviously it's hard now because we have compliance, which is a good thing, but we can't hit all of those health topics that we could have when I first joined, which was amazing, you know, but you just kind of have to be creative now. But I try really hard to hit on all different type of, like when I post testimonies, I'm going through and reading as many, and I'm trying to find as many, like, okay, sleep issues, digestion issues, energy, you know, skin issues, blah, blah. I'm trying to hit as many different topics as I can. And I try to like almost rewrite my own little blurb at the intro so that when someone's scrolling down their newsfeed, they're hitting and they're kind of, I can at least connect to like 5 different people with that one, you know? So anyway, I've tried just really hard to share the right way and lead my team with love and encouragement, and make it really fun. I've tried really hard to just have fun with my team. And, you know, I think when you stop having fun, you get really burned out, you know, which is generally, I mean, network marketing is not easy and people will burn out. It's just natural. I mean, even you know, even recently have had moments where I'm like, oh God, I need a break. Like I need a minute, you know, and that's fine. You know, take a minute, but never stop posting, you know, and never stop building your team. At least just be there for your team, you know? So anyway, I've kind of just had fun with it and tried to like lead my team. And, you know, it's been a wonderful journey. I never in my life thought, you know, we went Emerald in 9 months, and I couldn't even have imagined that was even possible, you know, but it was literally just a God thing, to be honest, because some of the people that joined my team, I never in my life thought they would ever want to work the business, but you know, they did. And it's just been such a cool thing. So, you know, I'm so thankful for that. And, you know, just thankful that Plexus kind of allows me to do what I do, and I get to stay home and work it from my phone whenever I feel like it. And we have crazy financial freedom now and time freedom now, which is amazing and a huge blessing, you know? So I'm so thankful for that. Do you want me to kind of, I know there was like some topics you wanted me to touch on. If y'all haven't noticed, I tend to ramble, and my whole team is just like used to me. They just know, like I just ramble like crazy. So
absolutely. Just go ahead and dive in.
Okay. So I will. So Elizabeth we talked about like some topics to kind of touch on that she kind of thought would be helpful. And I feel like I probably should have just took one of these. I'll try to just hit the first one, because again, I'll try not to ramble too much. But the first thing that I feel like when I think about what has been the most helpful for success for me and my team, I feel like there's a couple different things, but the first thing is always recruiting business builders more than anything. You know, you have to be recruiting business builders. For me, I've always just talked about how fun and life-changing this is, right? But for me, there's one thing that I wish I would have done like from day one, but I didn't have the confidence to do it, and that's okay, that's normal. But getting on the phone with people is like a huge, huge, huge thing that everybody should be doing. And I think for me, I was at least gold. I might have been senior goals by the time obviously like my close friends and family. Yeah, I got on the phone with them and I met with them, right? But like other people outside of my little network, like my close friends, no, I just hid behind my phone, you know, because I was so nervous. Even though I knew what I was talking about, for some reason that just was like really daunting, because I'm like, what if they ask me a question I don't know? Oh my God, I don't have time to research it. Like, what am I going to do? You know? And so getting on the phone, I'll never forget, one of my now diamond uplines told me, I went to like this training with her, and she was like, Lindsey, you have to start getting on the phone with people. Because I remember asking, I was like, what are you doing to get people off the fence? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you get people to, like, you've sent them all the information, or let's just talk just about business builders, right? Like, I've sent them all the stuff. I talked about it as much as I can. What do you know, she's like, are you getting on the phone? And I'm like, well, no, I'm just texting and I'm on Facebook Messenger. She's like, get on the phone, ask them if they have 15 minutes. And I was like, oh gosh, girl, I don't know, you know. And I just sat down one day and I wrote down this script. And to this day, I think, well, the date isn't right because I've edited it a bunch, but I was trying to see like the date of when I wrote this note. I have 9 million notes on my phone. I don't know about y'all, but I have like 1 million notes saved on my iPhone, like they go back to like July of last year when I joined. But I sat down and I wrote down this script and I use it to this day. And my team knows all of how I do it, but these are these calls that I do with potential business builders. So I ask someone, if someone is on the fence, or just in general, if I have anybody now that wants to work the business, or I think they would be amazing at it, I generally end my message and say, if you have 15 minutes, I would love to talk to you on the phone. I would love to talk to you on the phone. I would love to kind of like share more about Plexus and what has made a huge difference in my life, blah, 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 whatever. It's never just 15 minutes. It's usually like an hour, right? But I always just say 15 minutes because that sounds like less intimidating and less like daunting, right? Because I don't want to say, do you have a full hour? No. So I get on the phone with them, and there's kind of like the things that I go over with them. And I just have like my notes. The first thing, okay, so I will say it's like twofold. When you get on the phone with someone, you're trying to like recruit the business leader, bring them off the fence. There's two things. You want to ease their fears, and then you want to build them up and get them excited, right? Because the number one reason why people will not join your team is because they're scared they're going to fail. They are totally fearful that they're going to fail. That's the number one reason why people will not. They might say it's because of cost. Okay, it might be because of cost. But it's because they're scared they're going to fail. That's the reason that everybody will not join. That's why I didn't join initially. That's why I was terrified to do. That's why I was scared to post, because I was so scared to put myself out there, right? But so getting on the phone, people need to hear your passion. They need to hear your voice, and you need to ease their fears, So the first thing I generally say when I get on the phone is, why is Plexus different, right? So I get on the phone and I kind of talk to them, and I'm like, listen, this is the thing. I always tell them how I was really nervous. I was really fearful. I was really scared to do this. But this is the thing. This is what I've found just through trying this and sharing about it. Plexus is different, and this is why, okay? People genuinely need these products. It's all about gut health. Gut health is something that affects everybody. And even if you are a human being, literally, if you are on planet Earth, you have a gut and you need Plexus, right? So, Drew, go. Sorry, you guys. But so if you are a gut, if you are a human being, you need Plexus, right? So, I always say too, like even someone that exercises regularly, they eat super healthy, they work out, all whatever. They might have acid reflux, acne. They might have anxiety and depression. All of these things. They might sleep terrible. They might have digestion issues. They might have no energy. My sister was a perfect example of that. She exercised regularly. She's always been very thin. She eats super, super clean. And she had anxiety and depression for a long, long time and has been on various medications for it. She slept terrible. She had terrible allergies and like the craziest sugar cravings I've ever seen in my entire life. Like my sister could like down some sugar, and she's always been really thin and exercises like crazy and eats super healthy. So again, all of those things for me when I heard about Plexus was like, hold up, what, your gut can be the reason for that? An overgrowth of yeast can be the reason for that, all those health issues. So that's why Plexus is different. Everybody needs it, right? And on top of that, they don't just need it one time. They need it every month, So that's another thing. If you want to join another MLM, well, do people need it just one time or once every couple of months? Or no, do they need it every single month, like clockwork? Their supplements and they're a 1 month supply. So that's why Plexus is different. And there's not a person in the world that can say that they don't need Plexus. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I open up my calls with. And I can't even tell you, it's like I can like hear the sigh of relief when I'm talking to people on the phone. They're like, oh, that's a good, that's interesting. And I always try, when you do these phone calls to like, even though it's hard, and I say phone calls, obviously in person is wonderful, but it's kind of nice when you're on the phone because you can have some notes and like have them handy and look at them. But it's all about easing their fears. And I try really hard, even though you're on the phone, to try and pick up on those cues, right? So like if you hear someone being like, oh, like lead more on that. If you hear if someone is already super rich and you're talking about the money aspect, well, they don't care about that, right? If you're talking about how amazing our community is and how, there's so much support, where they're really, I try to like pick up on cues and what they're kind of like feeling and what their little like sighs and things, right? But I also really say a big thing, that I've noticed or I've heard through my experience is that people don't want to do this because they've tried other MLMs and they were pressured by people. Sorry, let me just turn off the baby monitor. I can hear my son waking up. My husband can take care of that one. But so, not mine. But so I always say, you know, there is never any pressure. I am not ever going to bug you or harass you. Plexus is as much or as little as you feel like putting into it. And I always tell people, like, I follow your lead. If you want more information, I'll give you more information. If you want less information, I'll pull back, right? But there is no pressure. There is no box you have to check somewhere that says you have to do anything at all. You know, so it's, that I think has also been a lot of people, when I do these calls, they're like, oh my gosh, like that was my next question. I was really nervous that someone was going to be bugging me and like, I'm going to have to like go to all these meetings and do all these things. And I'm like, no, we have tons and tons of resources. We do all kinds of like wonderful Zoom calls, and we have lots of recording videos or whatever, but like it's as much or as little as you feel like doing, you know, and I do it all from my bed and my house, you know. I kind of go over the comp plan a little bit. I say, you know, we make money in 11 different ways. I talk about the comp plan. I talk about the rank achievement bonuses, the fast track bonus. A big thing that I kind of hit on is one of my big selling points, I guess. I hate ever using the word selling, you know, but one of my big points with that is I always say, listen, you know, there are different ranks, and I go over silver, gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, emerald, sapphire, and diamond. And I say, you know, the average time it takes to get to emerald is 12 months. Obviously, I know tons of people that did it in less. You know, I know tons of people that did it a little bit over that, you know, but the average time it takes to go to emerald is 12 months. The average monthly income at emerald is $10,000 a month in 12 months, right? And then I say, you know, the average, I say, you know, the top of the company is diamond. The average time it takes to get to diamond is 2 years. 2 years. You know, the average monthly income at diamond is around $40,000 a month. And people then at that point usually are like, what? Like a month? Like you can make that per month? And I'm like, yes, obviously that's the average. Some people might make less or more. I have spoken to my uplines, several of my uplines, and they make way more than that a month, which is mind-blowing, you know, but I try really hard. So I do these calls and try to it's like a combination, right, of easing their fears and then really getting them excited and pumping them up. And I always tell them, like, these numbers sound crazy and daunting. And, you know, but this opportunity is real because obviously I can do these calls now and I have a different stance, right, because I am an emerald. But when I was doing these, you know, that was not the case. And so I would tell them, I have uplines that have done it, and I know these people, and they're wonderful, genuine people. They're real people, you know, and I kind of talk a little bit about that. I then talk about, you know, you can do everything from your phone. We don't keep any inventory. We don't have any cheesy parties, which is a big thing. That's one of the biggest things in MLMs. People have to do cheesy parties. Who wants to do parties? You know, I say you do everything from your phone. There's no pressure, blah, blah, blah. I say, you know, you're just like, I'm like looking at my notes. I literally just text back and forth to people, just emailing. Everything is copy and paste. Like literally all of my stuff is copy and paste. I share everything on my team. I got everything from a lot of things from my uplines. You know, testimonies that we share. I talk about that too. They're another big question people have. Well, what do I share on Facebook? How do I know what to share? And I say, we have this wonderful community. We all just share each other's stuff. You know, we just share each other's testimonies and posts. And obviously it's best to share about your own testimony as much as you can, but it's also really, really crucial to share other testimonies because that's third-party validation for your network, you know? And I talk about, you know, the team pages. We have team pages where there's tons and tons of training and support and guidance, and everybody just loves and encourages each other. And this is not a competitive salesy thing. You know, I kind of go on and on. I talk about my upline and how my uplines are emeralds and diamonds, you know, and, you know, even if whatever your uplines are, you can just say, I have uplines above me that are diamonds, you know, and they have made it to the top of the company. You know, and they are driving, you know, they got their second Lexus, you know, it's just, I kind of try really hard to, really pump them up, you know, blah, 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 blah. I talk about how you get 3 people, you go silver, you get 3 people, you get $25 for each one of those 3 people, that's $75. You get a $100 bonus when you go silver, that's $175 right there. And that more than covers your products for your first month and a little bit for the next month. and then if you keep adding to your team, right? So I kind of just like, I try really hard not to go too much into detail because their eyes can kind of glaze over a little bit. But I just try really hard to give them enough that they feel excited and like it's relatable, and then I just kind of end it and say, everything is just so wonderful and so fun, and I'm my own boss and I do everything from my phone. There's no pressure, blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the gist, right? So that's kind of how I do those calls. And I will say, I say this all the time to my team. Getting on the phone with people is something that I wish I would have done sooner. And every time I do it, people end up joining. Every time. Like I'm trying to think of a time that didn't. I mean, every single time they join. It's crazy. I've had people tell me that like they almost canceled the call with me like multiple times because they were so nervous of listening to like whatever spiel I was going to give them or whatever, and getting off the phone, it was like a sigh of relief and they were so excited. But they have to hear your passion, and when our business is primarily on social media and online, there's only so much you can do to really get people to join you from just texting, because right, you read too much into things. If you're just texting, you can read it all different ways, right? So you're like reading it and you're like, well, I don't know. And especially if you're already super, super fearful, well, if you don't say it exactly the right way, they're going to read it and be like, oh no, she's pressuring me. Oh no, I'm not going to be good at this, So that's kind of, those calls have just been a huge, huge part of my business. I also do a lot of three-way calls. I try really hard to I have to remind my team constantly about it, but I try really hard to do three-way calls are a huge, huge part of anyone in this business, I feel like. But getting your upline on the phone with your potential and having them kind of tell their story, it's that third-party validation, So it's one thing for you to be telling your, prospects how amazing it is, whatever, and say that's one of your close friends. Okay, yeah, Lindsay thinks it's cool, whatever, but does other people think it's cool? So to get that third-party validation from your upline, especially when you're just starting out, that's honestly how I was recruited, because I signed up under my girlfriend and her upline, they did a three-way call. I'm not kidding when I say I should not have even joined Plexus. My mom is the reason that I joined Plexus. It's really funny the way that it happened. Even though I said, all right, I'd done all this research on gut health and blood sugar regulation, and I felt really good, and my OB approved it, I still did not want to work the business because I was that fearful that I was going to fail. And my mom, who has tried every diet fad in the entire book, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, lost weight. I told my mom about like gut health, and she had never even heard of it. And it was like, she was like, let's do it. I want to lose weight for a wedding that I'm going to. I'm like, okay, well, that's how it works. Okay. But she was like, Lindsay, I know how it works. And I need to join under you so you get credit. And I was like, okay, well, just give me time, because I don't know if I want to join yet. And of course, my girlfriend was waiting, and she was like, oh, I'm sure she's thinking, well, this is my in. Lindsay's mom wants to do it. I can get Lindsay that way. And I felt so overwhelmed, and my girlfriend did everything right, but I was just so fearful. And my mom would not leave me alone. She was like, Lindsay, just hurry up and join. I'm over it. I want to try these products. And I remember I had this moment where I was like, I'm done. I'm just over it. And I texted my girlfriend. I was like, I am so tired of hearing about Plexus. My mom's going to just sign up directly under you. I'm over it. And she was like, I'm getting on the phone with you tonight. Me and my upline are getting on the phone with you, and we're going to talk to you. And I was like, oh, really? Come on, So I got on the phone with her and her upline, and, the rest is history. I mean, they did exactly the things that I said, a little bit, give or take. But they eased my fears. Even if you don't say things all the right way, it's just about easing their fears and just getting someone on the phone, which I think is like a huge part of this business, Does that all kind of sound good? Y'all have any questions at all? That I can talk to, I'm like getting over a little cold right now. I sound so stuffy. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I swear, my daughter started school this fall, and I swear, like, the struggle of like your kids starting school for the first time and like dealing with like germs all the time is ridiculous. Okay. And then, so I had talked to Elizabeth about I did a video for my team once, and my team loved it. And there are things that I tell my team members all the time too, but I did a video about like 3 tips for when you feel like you're getting stuck. And it's something that like I still tag people in, my team members still tag people in. And we feel like it's been helpful. And this might be some stuff that maybe it might be a little bit monotonous, but I mean, has been helpful. You know, and I think the first thing to keep in mind too, when you feel like you're stuck, first of all, as long as you are always growing yourself, you're never stuck, you know? So if you ever feel like, you know, you feel like you are posting every single day, you're reaching out like crazy, you know, you're talking to all your friends, you're doing everything you can, and nothing is happening. As long as you are still trying to grow yourself, you don't stop posting. As long as you are, you know, get on YouTube, watch some YouTube videos from top leaders in the company, you know, read some network marketing books, whatever it takes, you know, but as long as you're doing something, you are never stuck, okay, as long as you're continuing to grow yourself. But one of the first things I say in this video that I did is, you know, the first thing obviously is, you know, to take 10 to 15 minutes every day to connect on social media. And it doesn't have to be on social media. If your network is outside of social media, you know, and you just are meeting with people in person, that's even better, right? But to take 10 to 15 minutes every single day and connect with your non-Plexus friends. You know, and go down your friends list literally and start looking at people that you have not. Obviously, you know, you guys know like kind of the algorithms of Facebook. And if you like a post, it links to your accounts. But if you comment on someone's post, it links to your accounts in the highest way possible, right? So to take 10 to 15 minutes every single day and literally whatever time of the day that is that works best for you, you know, but literally go down your friends list and find all of these new people. And it doesn't have to be fake. It doesn't have to be like forced, but just find their most recent post or something that doesn't look like you just kind of stalk them a little bit, you know, like we're doing, you know, but just kind of find something, you know, and just at least comment. You can definitely like, but comment, and don't make it over the top and fake, whatever, but just, you know, comment on the rest. Be like, oh, that looks super yummy. Oh, I hope you're doing great, girl, whatever. It's all about building the new relationship, right? You just have to build those new relationships. And it's not something that you can force. I don't feel like. I know different leaders in the company have all kinds of different opinions and things that have worked really great for them. I went to a training with Amy Paul a couple weeks ago, and she's like amazing and like mind-blowing. But you know, and for her, she can literally walk up to someone in the grocery store and sign someone up. I swear. Like, it was like, I can't even wrap my mind around that. Like, I can't even, you know, but that works for her. She is like a hustler. I'm meeting people right on the spot and signing them up. Like, she's a baller. For me and my business, I have built my business primarily by building relationships first. And that doesn't happen overnight, you know, but the good thing about that is you build that trust, because you don't ever want people to think that you're just trying to make a sale out of them. You want them, you know, you want them to feel like they can trust you and you genuinely care about them, to the point that after they actually try the products, they feel like they actually, like, you would have their back and they would actually be successful on your team and you actually care about them, you know? So take 10 to 15 minutes every single day and just comment and go through. You know, maybe you want to take like a chunk of your friends list, like A through, you know, F or whatever each day, and just try and find, you know, and it doesn't have to be every single day on the same person, right? But just build that relationship. Maybe you even want to send the person a message, you know, and just say, hey girl, it's been forever. How are you? You know, your picture just popped up in my news feed. You know, your kids look so cute. Oh my gosh, your dog's so adorable. Oh my gosh, I saw you guys just got back from, you know, California. I've been dying to go there, or whatever, you know, just something, just building that relationship. And by the way, you know, obviously, I think y'all know, like, messaging links to your accounts in the highest way possible. So another big benefit of sending messages is it massively, have you ever noticed when you like message someone out of the blue and all of a sudden like you're seeing all their Facebook posts? Because it links your accounts in the highest way possible. But so just building your relationships, right? You know, the next thing that I tell my team is, if you feel like you're hitting a wall, you feel like you're stuck, find a new outlet. And that can be really daunting. I think especially for people that feel like they have a small group of friends, and they feel like, they don't really know where to start. Just start kind of thinking, like, what are you interested in? What do you like to do? Are you trying to find a new church? Are you in a new church? Join a Bible study. Get involved in your church. If if you have a church that you love, you're looking for a new church home. You're whatever it may be, find, whatever job you work at, is there something that you can kind of get involved in, a different like extracurricular thing at work or whatever it is, like your kids, your kids' friends, parents, whatever, like anything, join, my brain is like gone right now. One of the biggest things I will say, and this sounds like, if y'all haven't heard of this, it sounds like probably goofy, but for me, it wasn't intentional because I had joined this group before I joined Plexus, but I joined this group called Baby Boot Camp, which is like where it's like stroller fitness, where like you go with your kids and their kids are in their strollers and you work out together and you do extra, workouts, and they have like play dates and all kinds of stuff, whatever. And so I joined that before I joined Plexus, but it was just, honestly, I say this all the time, but certain things are just like such a God thing. But, it was such a God thing the way that it happened, because I had this brand new network that thankfully to my benefit was not tapped out at all. But I had all of these new girls that I had met. And I was in that group of maybe like a couple months, maybe that, I don't know, not even that. But I joined Plexus, and naturally, right, I was friending all these girls on Facebook because I had met them, and they start seeing my posts. That's the best thing. When you meet these new people, you just friend them on Facebook naturally, right? You don't have to then shove Plexus down their throat. They're going to see your posts, right? And obviously, it's important not to just blast your news feed with all Plexus stuff. You want to make sure you're keeping up with your personal stuff too. People want to still see your personal post, but they want to still see the things for the reason they became friends with you. They became friends with you to see pictures of your dogs, of your travels, of your cool work, or whatever it is, your tasty recipes, whatever it is, So, but those people you're going to friend on Facebook naturally. So find a new outlet, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. But for me, that was this baby boot camp thing. And it just happened that I had a ton of girls, kind of like listening. I would go to boot camp, and I was friends with all these girls on Facebook, and I would go to boot camp, and I would have one girl ask me a question about Plexus, and I would be answering it, just not even thinking about it. And I would look around, and like 7 or 8 girls are just like literally like sticking their ears in to listen. I mean, it was just hilarious. I was like, wow, this worked out kind of great, But and some of my, wonderful business builders are from Baby Boot Camp. But Drew and I are like about to join a new church, for the record, not just because I'm looking for a new network, but because we really want to join a new church, but that's a new network, right? My sister, one of her biggest networks is her church friends, some of her strongest business builders, right? All it takes is one rock star. Okay. That's all it takes. Obviously we want to always have points outside of our primary leg, but all it takes is one rock star, and you never know where you're going to find that person. You never know where you're going to find that person. You might find that person at the grocery store. You might find whatever it is, but be open to that and have those conversations with people. And, Plexus will come up very organically. You'll be drinking your Slim and someone will just ask you what it is, naturally. Someone will just say, hey, how was your night? And he's like, oh my gosh, I had like the best sleep ever. And they're like, really? What are you doing? I'm like, well, it's crazy. I'm drinking this Plexus stuff. I'm like taking these like supplement things. And honestly, I feel like it's better when you like don't even know all of the fancy words, because you can kind of just play dumb a little bit, and it makes it not feel like you're selling to them. Like I feel like my key has kind of been in my business is kind of just being like a big goofball people. And that has kind of worked to my benefit, because people just laugh at me because I'm just goofy, but I don't try to say all these fancy words, like whatever the thing is in ProBio, like Chido Sanse, whatever it is that we always post about. I don't pretend to know how to say that, but I just post about ProBio, and I tell people like, this ProBio kills off the yeast in your gut. That yeast can be the root source of migraines, acid reflux, anxiety, you know, skin issues, sleep issues, allergies. All of these things can be can be caused by the yeast in our gut. And I tell people too, I paid for a really expensive probiotic before Plexus, and I didn't know what it was. My healthy crunchy friend told me, like, Lindsey, you need to get on a probiotic. It's like, you know, and it was almost 2 years ago. I joined Plexus, you know, a year and a half ago. So 2 years ago, I was on this probiotic, and I don't even know how much I spent on it. It was a ton of money. And not once, I took it for like 2 months, not once did I ever feel a difference on it. Not once. And I tell people that, like, I'm like, yeah, I took this probiotic. You know, if you're taking a probiotic and you don't feel anything, newsflash, it's not doing anything. I don't care if you don't have a whole bunch of life-threatening illnesses. If you don't feel like you're sleeping like amazing, and you don't feel like your skin is glowing, and you just like have great energy, you know, you just feel happier, like, it's not doing anything, you know. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm kind of going off on I always go in like 9 million different ways. But so find a new outlet. And the last thing is cold messaging. Okay. This is also something that I swear, y'all, I was so terrified to do. I can't even tell you, like, terrified. I think I might have been a gold ambassador. Maybe I might have been a senior gold ambassador, I swear, because I think at gold, I had like 3 business builders. So I think I had my sister. I have one of my girlfriends, Lindsey Birthisel, both of those 2 were my 2 first business builders. But I think I had like 3 business builders at gold, whatever. So they were recruiting, right? And I was still just recruiting level 1s through posting on social media and just kind of talking to people. But cold messaging was so terrifying. But I swear to you, when I started posting on social media, or when I started sending out cold messages, it really was life-changing for my business. It wasn't something that was instantaneous, but it's all about planting the seed. You know, so when you hear people say all the time, like, planting the seed, that's what it is. You know, I say to my team all the time, like, people are kind of like an onion. Like, you have to peel back the layers, like the layers of fear almost, you know, and you have to peel back those layers. So it's all about planting the seed and kind of watering it, right? I'm giving you like 10 different analogies, but, like, you know, it's all about planting the seed, you know, and just kind of putting it out there, sending a message, and just saying, like, I say a lot of things too, like, you've been on my heart. You know, I don't ever send a message to someone. I'm like, hey, do you want to buy my products? Like, here's my website. No, like, that will never happen. If I ever even see, I was like, I'm on like it was like a way up of a upline page. And someone posted a screenshot one time that literally was like that message, and my heart broke. I was like, oh, I just want to message you so bad, and just don't do it. Do something different. That's not working. You know, but I always say things like, I kind of open up a message, like, I always try to do a couple sentences, like, you know, just totally personal, you know, just connect with them on a personal level. Like, you know, hey girl, you know, how's it going? You know, how's your family? I haven't seen you in forever. How you guys been? I have so many fond memories with you, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be like, okay, that sounded a little bit, it doesn't have to be like forced, you know, but just connect with them on a personal level. And then I just say, like, listen, you know, I'm not sure if you've seen, you know, but my posts on Facebook, you know, but I share about Plexus. You know, these products have just totally changed my life. And I do a little bit about my testimony, just a few sentences about the health issues that it's helped address. And then I just say, like, listen, and I have like 2 messages, one for people that I think would just love the product specifically, and then one for people that I think would would be really amazing at the business, which is the most important. I feel like, not the most important, but it's a big part of it. But I just say something like, you have just, both messages, I'm like, you have just been on my heart. Like, you have totally been on my heart. I just really believe that you would love these products. I just know you would love this energy to keep up with your family, to keep up with your kids, or to keep up with your busy job. Or if I'm talking about the business, I just say, like, I swear, you have been on my heart. I just know you would be amazing at this. Like, you are so sweet. You have, like, all of your friends love you and trust you. you have, you know, whatever it is, I just like give them like lots of kudos. I just like love on them, and I'm like, you'll be amazing at this. And then I kind of talk a little bit about Plexus. I'm like, it focuses on getting your gut healthy, blah, 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 blah. We get paid in 11 different ways, weekly and monthly. You know, I can't even, just sound so crazy, but like I have all of these uplines that have this free Lexus. They go to Hawaii every single year. They make around $10,000 a month. It sounds so crazy, but like it's a real opportunity. This is like not like fake. It's real, you know, and I just like, and I always say too, like no pressure at all. I'm like, I put in the no pressure thing to this day constantly. I'm like, no pressure at all, you know, but if you're ever interested, I would love to send you some more info, or I would love to talk to you on the phone sometime. Again, no pressure. Just wanting you to know, like, you've been on my heart. Let me know if you're ever interested. Have a great day. Take care. Boom. Right? Very likely they're going to read it and not respond 9 times out of 10. And that's totally okay. I take that as a win. When I first started doing this, that ripped my heart out. I was like, oh my God, I just sent this like really heartfelt message and they didn't even freaking respond. Like, you are so rude. I hate all of you. Just kidding. Not really, you know, but I was like so mad and hurt. And now I look at that and I'm like, I take that as a win. Like, they read my message. I just planted a seed. And you know what? They don't realize it, but they are going to go to sleep thinking about that and wondering, wait, like, could I really freaking get a free Lexus? Could I really go to Hawaii could I for real make 10 grand a month? No way. No way. But this is the thing. They're going to start stalking you on Facebook now, right? Not only did you just link your accounts the best way because you message them, they don't even realize it, but they're going to start literally seeing your posts more because you linked your accounts. You know, and on top of that, they're going to start reading them more. They're going to start paying attention. So they're going to become one of your silent stalkers, you know? So it's all about planting that initial seed. One of my business builders, one of my biggest business builders who I love, she actually asked me for info on Plexus, like right after I joined, like the month after I joined, forever ago. And then when I was pushing for Emerald 9 months later, I was just rocking my mind. I'm like, oh my God, who I need more? Who can I think of that like needs to order that? Who can I think of that wants to work the business? And I was just going through my message history and I was like, okay, this girl, I swear I was not imagining it. This girl had been liking, commenting on my personal post more, which told me, I was like, oh, she's been following my post more. She's totally into it. I know she is. And so I sent her a message out of the blue. It wasn't like a cold message technically, but I sent her a message basically saying the exact same thing that I just said. And I was like, you have been in my heart. I swear, girl, like you would be so amazing at this business. You would be so good. And you're such a huge health and wellness guru. Like this would be so natural for you. And you're so sweet. People love you. She literally wrote back and was like, girl, okay, I'm not lying. I have been following your post for like 9 months. And I was like, get out of town. I would never have known because not once did you show me any love on any of my Plexus posts, you know, and we got on the phone the next day. She joined the next day and she hit gold. She fast tracked to gold. So, you know, that was 9 months. Okay. I mean, you never ever know how things are going to happen, but people that I had cold message have ended up being my biggest business builders. It's not instantaneous, but it's all about planting seeds. So, you know, anyway, that has been something that has really been helpful for my business. Anyway, I've rambled like way too long. I told y'all I rambled too much. My 14 was like so used to me. Anyway, do y'all have any questions?
It's been good. It's been very, very good. I think you've had a lot of great points.
Oh, good.
Does anybody I'm going to unmute everybody. Well, everybody knows how to unmute themselves.
Okay.
See, I sound like a man too.
What kind of products did you take?
What did you say?
What kind of products did you take?
Oh, when I first started out?
Uh-huh.
So when I just took Triplex. I'm a huge Triplex person. Like I preach to my team, you have to take Triplex. Like we push Triplex like crazy. So when I first started, I took the Triplex Combo, Slim, Probio, and Bio Cleanse. And looking back, so when I was pregnant, I took it, obviously I started when I was pregnant. So I wish I would have taken X Factor. But when I brought X Factor to my doctor, neither one of us, I did not know that X Factor at the time because I was like new and I had no idea what I was doing. But X Factor, the New Zealand black currant, is a strong source of iron, right? I didn't know that, and my doctor didn't realize that. She just like didn't look at the close, like didn't realize it. And the one thing she said, she's like, well, it doesn't have any iron, so, you know, just keep taking yours. So I was like, okay, whatever. And looking back, I'm like, whoa. So I started X Factor right after my son was born, but I wish I would have taken it during my pregnancy. But yeah, I'm a big person about, you know, I tell my team because it makes people commission qualified. It's one-on-one PD, but mostly because people need to get their gut healthy and their blood sugars regulated to address those root issues and have long-term success. Anyway, yeah, triplex.
Okay. Well, I've got somebody that does the anxiety and depression and stuff, and so I didn't know what you were doing.
Definitely triplex for sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. My sister she has an amazing testimony. My sister did triplex, and she was able, you know, she wouldn't like me to like admit her age. My sister and I are 12 years apart. But she looks like she's like in her 20s, I swear, but she's like 41 or 42. But she had struggled with anxiety and depression for probably like, oh my God, I think maybe like 20 years, like seriously. And she had been on various medications for a long time. And she will, you know, her testimony is so amazing. And she says to this day, she's like, not once did a single doctor ever tell me to get my gut healthy. Not once. It just kept writing more prescription. And it gives me chills to even talk about it, I swear. Because it's like within, I think it was like the second month, maybe she could see a huge difference. You know, and I'm also really big. I tell my team all the time, they need to work up to 4 ProBio, you know, so I always tell people like, you know, 2 ProBio is really just for maintenance. You know, I know tons of people that have incredible results with just 2. I had really, really good results with just 2 for a long time. But once it took me a while. Once I learned that, I didn't really realize that when I first started. And I kind of heard that 4 ProBio is where it's actually killing off the yeast effectively. And 2 is really just for maintenance. You know, once I went up to 4, for me, I could see a huge difference with the ProBio. So, but for anxiety and depression, for sure, regardless with anybody, you know, you always want to just slowly work up the ProBio because you don't want their detox to be too bad. And obviously work with their doctor to get them to be able to wean them off the medication, which is what my sister did. But definitely triplex. And this slim will help too, you know, for women. I feel like, you know, getting your blood sugars regulated will help regulate your hormones as well, which of course helps with your mood, you know, and stuff. You guys know all this, but yeah, definitely triplex.
Okay.
For sure.
Absolutely. Those are good points. Really, really good points. And especially that about the probiotic, I can say that for myself. I now take 3 every single night.
Yeah.
And I need to work up to 4 myself, but
Yeah.
I feel like I take so many. So
I know. And, you know, I will say this, you know, obviously I'm in a kind of a different place now. When I say I took only 2 ProBio for a long time, that's what I could afford.
Yep.
You know, and at the same time, my husband takes triplex. He's like the sweetest, most supportive husband in the entire world, you know, and he was like so excited to start triplex with me. So we had 2 triplex combos coming to our house, you know, so for us to have 4 bottles of ProBio per month is a lot of money, you know, so I always kind of take that. I'm always kind of like, you know, I'm leery of, not leery. I don't tell people like when they join, okay, you're going to need 4 or 2 bottles of ProBio. I don't just straight up tell people that, right? Not that I'm trying to be deceiving in any way, but I don't want to turn people off. So I wait till they order and then I just say, okay, I'm so excited. When I usually tell them on my first week's check-in, because obviously we want to check on people every single week. You know, but I usually wait till that first week's check-in and then I just say something like kind of along the lines of like, hey, how you feeling? How's it going? You know, how you feeling on your ProBio? Or I say kind of how many capsules are you taking of ProBio? How many capsules are you taking of BioCleanse? You know, and then I kind of tell them, you know, I say, you know, what do I say? Like the goal with ProBio is to work up to 4, you know, but we always just start with 2 because you want to slowly work up to it, you know, whatever, something like that. Right. But I don't ever just, you know, it's different for everybody. And I don't want people to feel like they have to, because I had wonderful results with just 2 for a long time. And some people are great with 2. Some people cannot go past 2 because their gut is like so junked up, or maybe their gut isn't that bad and they just don't need much more than that, you know? But anyway.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, girl.
Does anybody else have a quick question? We've taken a lot of your time. Thank you.
No, I've taken a lot of y'all's time. I'm sorry. I told you, girl, I ramble so bad.
We've added up. Look, I love some of the points that you all, or that you have shared with us tonight.
Okay.
I don't think I have to recap necessarily, but does anybody else have anything else, or a thought or comment, concern? I want to pray with us if you don't mind.
Oh, I would love that.
Before we hop off. If y'all don't mind. Anybody want to pray? Cass, you want to hit us up? Cassie's my
No. Okay, I will.
Get it, girl.
Okay. Father God, thank you so much for this day, Lord, and thank you for this team and for these wonderful ladies, God, that have just gathered to learn more about this business that you've blessed them with, God. And thank you for Lindsey and all that she is and all that she's shared, and for her love and her encouragement, God, and for her just her wisdom and knowledge in this business, God, and her guidance. Thank you for everyone that is just here to experience more of what you have for them. This opportunity, God, and for this ability, and for each person that's in this business, just to lift each other up and to encourage each other, and for the blessing that it's been to so many people. God, I pray that you just continue to have your way and your perfect will, God, in each person's life that is working this business. And we just love you and we thank you for it. We praise you, and in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Why, man, that was an amazing prayer.
I know, she can like touch heaven.
Like I just went to church. It's a good prayer, girl.
I know.
Good.
Oh, so good. Okay,